One last question to consider. What if your vector function has constant length? Is there anything nice that you can say? So that is r of t, the length of r of t, the magnitude r of t is always some constant no matter what t is. In other words, you're always a constant distance away from the origin. Okay, so let's do some calculations with this. So in other words, how do we get to the magnitude of r of t? R of t dot r of t is equal to the magnitude of r of t squared, and so that's going to equal c squared. Well, let's take the derivative of this. And we take the derivative of everything here. What do we end up with? Well, by our dot product rule, it's going to be, we're applying the dot product rule with r of t being both u of t and v of t. And so we would attain r prime of t dot r of t plus r of t dot r prime of t. But then the dot product is commutative. So r prime, this is r prime dot r, this is r dot r prime. Those are the same thing because the dot product is commutative. So this is really 2r prime of t dot r of t. But then on the right side of our equation, we have the derivative with respect to t of c squared, and that's a constant. So this is equal to 0. So what's going on here? 2 times r prime of t dot r of t is equal to 0, or, divide both sides by 2, r prime of t dot r of t is equal to 0 here. What can you tell me if the dot product is 0? R prime of t and r of t are orthogonal. And your vector function has constant length, then crunch, 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 crunch. You always are guaranteed that r of t is orthogonal to r prime of t. That is a guarantee. Okay, that is a nice little observation. That's a nice little observation to have in our pocket. Okay, I want to wrap up this video. There's a pre-class problem. This actually was supposed to be in the last video, but I forgot to show it there. This is going to be a cross product rule calculation. So I gave you r1 of t, r2 of t. Find the derivative of the cross product using the cross product rule right here. Okay, so that is your goal. Again, make sure that you keep track of the orders because order matters when you're dealing with cross products. Okay.